Alright, quick and nerdy. Hello and welcome to the Tiny Human Knits podcast, my podcast all about knitting, sewing, crochet, cross-stitch, and all manner of crafty goodness. My name is Laura and I'm coming to you from High Level, Alberta, Canada, where I live with my boyfriend and our dog named Gus, who is sleeping on the couch at the moment, as he is wont to do all day, every day. It has been a long time since I podcast again because I don't have a good reason why not. I've been busy working and I don't have any other excuse. I actually don't. And then the longer it goes on, the harder it is to actually get back on it, and then it's just a big kerfuffle, and then, you know how it is. But I'm here again, and you can find me online as Tiny Human Knits everywhere on Instagram, Ravelry, YouTube, and Etsy. And yeah, the Etsy shop is very thin on the ground. I think I only have one skein in the shop right now, and that is because self-striping takes quite a bit longer than regular, like just dyeing of yarns. And so I can't put as much into the shop as I would like to, but hopefully I can get my system streamlined a little bit better. I am starting my seasonal job again on Monday. Today is Friday, April 12th, I believe. And I am starting my seasonal job, so I'm just going to say now, my shop will be pretty empty over the summer. I will have occasional updates, pretty haphazard. The best way to find out about those things is to follow me on Instagram and watch my Instagram stories. I do a lot of announcements there. And I'm hoping to do a very big update for when I'm done working over the summer. So I'll be working over the summer, sort of building up my shop and putting the occasional items into the shop. And then at the end of the summer, thinking September, October time, I'm going to have a very, very big update. I'm going to have all of my self-striping, all the new colorways that I'll be coming up with over the summer, all the old colorways. And I'll be having some of my regular speckled and variegated yarns, and then I'll also have a bunch of project bags. So those will all be in the shop, and I know it's a bit of an early way to say it, but they'll be in the shop in September or October. I still need to figure that out. And then I will also be listing pre-orders for my advent calendars on the 1st of June. And it's going to be different from last year. Last year I had mini skeins, but this year, I've discussed it here before, but I've finalized my plan on I'm going to be having kits of 4 self-striping colorways and then a 5-pack of mini skeins. And that is going to be the 4 Sundays before Christmas is the traditional Advent for Christmas or the holidays. And so I'm going to have 4 skeins of self-striping. So it's going to be, the first week is going to be a 2-striper, and then a 4-striper, a 6 or 8-striper, I haven't finalized that one yet, and then a 12-striper. So I have been sort of practicing or like doing trial runs of a couple of my ideas for the colorways for that, and I have finalized 2 of them, and I'm knitting samples. So I'm not going to be able to show you them, obviously, because that would ruin the surprise, but I've knit a lot of socks that I can't show you because it's a secret. So there's going to be some secret knitting that I can't actually show you here, but that's going to be available, and it's going to be the 4 skeins. I'm going to have them in kits of 100 grams per skein, for those of you who have larger feet or maybe want to make 2 pairs. And then I will have kits that only have 50 grams, so 4 50-gram skeins and then the mini skein set, just so if it's not within your budget to buy that quantity, it'll be under. A caveat to that, I'm gonna have extras in the kit, but I think I might list some that's just the yarn, so it's just the 4 skeins and then the mini skein set, because that should keep it under 100 Canadian dollars before shipping. And that if you have a much smaller budget, you can still knit along with that. So that is my idea. That's very bleh. But yeah, so I'm finalizing those colorways, and hopefully I can have those. I want to get them done over the summer so they're actually ready to ship by the time I'm done working. So I'm going to be shipping them out probably at the end of October if Canada Post doesn't decide to strike again. So yeah, those should be ready, and I'm hoping that goes smoothly. Besides that, admin-wise, I am currently running a Marie Wallin knit along. I started that at the beginning of the year. I haven't actually cast on anything by Marie Wallin, but I have 2 sweaters that I'm planning on casting on right away here. And so originally I thought it was going to be a 6-month, but I think I'm going to have to make it a full year knit along because Marie Wallin's patterns can be very in-depth, complicated-wise. And the 2 that I'm planning on casting on have a lot of color work, so I'm going to give myself a little bit more time for that. So you can enter into that. There's a thread in Ravelry. I haven't talked to many people today, so pardon me. And then I also had my Make From Stash Along finish up in January, as I mentioned in my last podcast. I did contact the person I drew, but they never got back to me, so I'm going to be redrawing for the prize for that. So make sure to check your Ravelry inbox and reply so I can get your address and all that. So I'll be redrawing for that today and contacting the person and then doing the same options that I had given the last person who never got back to me. So I think that's everything. I haven't done this in a while. I'm a bit I'm really rusty. But I felt I should do it now before I start work because otherwise I'm going to forget. And yeah. So I'll start off with what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my No Frills pullover by Petite Knit, and I am pretty much living in this thing right now. I knit it out of my own hand-dyed yarns. This is, well, the main fingering is a non-superwash fingering in my Lulu colorway, and then I held it together with just a Knit Picks mohair in the Oat colorway, I believe. And I have been wearing this so much. I need to make myself another one. I have quantities for 2 more, and I'm really excited about it. So I need to do that right away. It's very, very soft. It's too warm to be wearing it today because it's actually turning into springtime, so I might take this off eventually. I might not. We'll see. But that's the only thing handmade that I'm wearing right now, and I do have finished objects. I have 6 finished objects? Yes, I believe I have 6 finished objects. I have 1 sweater. I'll show you that first. So I think this was a whip the last, I meant to watch my last episode so I knew what I would be talking about, but I didn't because this is a very spur of the moment, need to get it done now sort of thing. But I had cast on the White Horse sweater by Caitlin Hunter, and it is now finished. And I love it. And it's funny because I wasn't sold on it the entire time I was knitting on it. I just kept thinking to myself, like, I don't know if this is the right sort of style for me. I don't know about, well, any of it. So I finished it, woven in the ends, I blocked it, and then I put it on, and it is fantastic. So I knit it with Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, and I cannot for the life of me remember what colorway this is. But it's their Wool of the Andes worsted weight, so I got gauge with it, so that was good. And then I shortened I think I made a medium size, but I shortened the length of it a little bit more because I'm very short torsoed, like incredibly short torsoed, so I don't need it to be as long. And then I shortened the repeats, and then I also shortened the actual body length. So, and then I also didn't cast on as many of the body stitches after you separate as required, because I have broader shoulders than I have waist ratio, if that makes sense. So I didn't have as many stitches on the sleeve either, because I didn't want the bell sleeve sort of look. But I really, really like it. I took this as a project with me. My boyfriend and I went to Nashville in February. I don't know where March went. I'm not entirely sure what happened that month. I'm pretty sure it was February. But yeah, we went to Nashville. It's my first time ever going to the States, which was interesting. I really liked it. We had a lot of fun. We were there for a few days. So yeah, I took this with me, and I can't remember if I finished it there or not. Aren't I just full of useful information today? Haha. That's all I have to say about it, really. I can hang it back. I don't know, I'll put it on the floor. I recommend the pattern. It's a lot of fun. And as per usual, and this is going to be a trend this summer because I'm starting to do a lot more of my sample knitting for my self-striping socks, I have 5 pairs of socks. I hope none of these are repeats. I did have 5 pairs last time as well. Oh no, 4 pairs. I lied. Sorry. I've almost got another pair done, but that's not until later. So I'll just start. First off, I have Scrappy Sock Volume 2. And I think these were on my needles last time, but I cannot for the life of me remember. But yeah, so this is my own hand-dyed yarn. So it was Scrappy Socks Volume 2. I had Volume 1 finished in my last episode. And I just used a random mini skein I had lying around the house because I have hordes of them. I've dyed a lot of mini skeins, and I like to keep like a skein of each of the mini skeins that I dye for posterity, or just because I like mini skeins. So I have a tendency to just like have piles of them around my office, so it works. I get to pick whatever colorway I want. So I really like these a lot. I love how earthy they look compared to my last Scrappy Sock that were a lot more bright and shiny. So that's the first one. The second pair of socks I have is this pair here, and these are my Oscar socks. These are a self-drafted sport weight sock pattern. I knit them out of Yarning Apart sport weight in the marble colorway. I was about to say heatherway. So this is a pattern that I sort of did on the fly last January, so in 2018, and they were for somebody else. This is a pattern that's on the front. And I wanted a pair for myself but never got around to it, so I finally cast these on in February, I believe. So I knew how I had done my ribbing in the first pair, and from there I knew exactly where the cables needed to go. Like I didn't make any notes when I made this pair of socks last year. So it's very intuitive. I'm going to be trying to put up a chart on my Ravelry page for it, and then just a loose like note guideline. It's not going to be a pattern, it's just going to be like a free, you can try this yourself if you want to. They're amazing. They are like, they don't have any negative ease. I would say they're 0 ease. So they're more of a house sock, I would say, personally. So that's what I'm going to be using them for, and they're so thick. Like this, the Yarning Apart sport weight is so fluffy that they're very dense. So they're going to be a house sock for the next winter. And I'm really excited for that because this house gets cold. We don't have the heating on very high, even in the winter. So that's pair number 2. And as I said on my last podcast, all the pairs of socks that I've been knitting since November of last year until the end, or I guess until probably around October this year, I'm not wearing them until it gets cold again, because I only have 6 pairs left. I only have 6 pairs left or 6 pairs at all, of my socks that I've knit over the years, and they're getting incredibly worn. Like, I would darn them, except I apparently wear through all parts of the bottom of my sock at kind of the same rate. So they're like threadbare through the whole bottom of the foot. And they've been worn for a few years and they're getting really raggedy. So I'm knitting a pile of socks before wearing them so I can have a lot of socks so they don't get as worn as often. Yeah. I'm good at the talking. Okay, my third finished object is this pair of my own hand-dyed again. This is a very popular colorway that's been in my shop for a little while. I don't have any in right now because honestly I got kind of sick of dyeing it. And this is called the Dundernit Rainbow. This is based off of one night I had an adult beverage and I was watching Knitting Vicariously with Caroline of Dundernit that you can find on Instagram, and just something about the combination of my mental state, seeing the colorful backdrop that she has in her podcast, and the fact that I had 12 stripe warped yarn soaking already meant that I got inspired and had to dye this immediately, and I absolutely love it. So this will probably pop back into the shop occasionally. I won't be doing any big updates of it anymore, just because, again, dyeing the same color over and over and over again does get really tedious. But I will have more of this in the shop eventually. In my big update in September or October, I will definitely have some. And then my last pair of socks that I have finished is the pastel version of the Dunder Knit Rainbow. And this was a way that I could use up the rest of the dye that was left after dyeing the original rainbow. And some of the colors I do have to add a little bit more color to, but a lot of them will have a leftover colorway sort of in the jars that I dye them in. So this was a good way to soak that up so I wasn't wasting it, and also it just looks really pretty. And again, all of these, all of my contrast heels and toes are just mini skeins I've had around the house. Like for this one, it was just a gold one that I had, which I thought was pretty appropriate. And then this one was a plain and simple that I had from last year. And I'm pretty much doing all of my socks top down now. I am kind of converted. I really like the fit of them and sort of the process of them as well. I like starting off with a cuff. As long-term watchers would know, I used to only like exclusively do toe up, and I'm just, something about self-striping makes me want to do top down and then put in a heel flap because it just looks a lot neater that way, in my own personal opinion. So I think that's all of my finished objects. I'm pretty sure. I hope that's right. I'm pretty sure it is. If I have anything else, I can't remember. Oh, wait. I did leave these in here for a reason. Haha. I have boyfriend socks. They're huge, which is why he only has one pair so far. I think these are finished from, I'm pretty sure. These are Patton's Crochet socks in the brown gray marl question mark? In my favorite colorway. They're gigantic. Probably the biggest socks I've ever made. He wore them once and they're already starting to get funky. But I re-washed them and blocked them and they look nice, but I told him he might not get as many pairs of socks as I do, because he wears really heavy work boots, and I might just make him socks for him to wear when he's maybe not working or just like lounging around the house, because I can't afford to make a pair of socks and have them be worn out after one wear, because it takes a long time. One pair of socks for him, I could knit myself 2 or 3, honestly. Tiny feet. But I think these are a finished object from last time. Pretty sure. And now I can give them back to them. I've had them on the blockers for like a month, just sitting in my office because I needed to show them while they still looked halfway decent. But yeah. He also got a heel flap and gusset. He got a really long heel flap. I think it's 22 repeats, or 22 pearl bumps to pick up. So 6 finished objects then. But I do have quite a few works in progress. I will start off with my Rowena jumper. And this is a pattern, let me see. I wonder, is it Helene or Helen of Fable Knitwear? And she's fantastically wonderful. I apparently don't have the pattern with me, which is going to be a problem when I actually try to start knitting this again, because then I won't know where I am, but that's okay. I'm knitting the Rowena jumper out of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Sport, and this is in the Merlot Heather. I was about to say Heatherway again. Merlot Heather. And I really like the Knit Picks Sport Weight. It's probably one of my favorites from Knit Picks. It's somehow softer than the worsted weight, but it is a 1x1 ribbed crop top, beautiful puff sleeve, wonderfully just fantastic jumper. And it's knit from the bottom up, and then you connect the sleeves to the body, and then you do your yoke shaping and then the puff sleeves and all that. So I've already finished the sleeves. So here's 2 sleeves. They were covered in dog hair, as is my life. And as per usual, I have knit my 1x1 rib on, I knit from the wrong side and then turned it around and started knitting the stockinette on the opposite side, because my 1x1 rib is neater on the wrong side than it is on the right side. Which is also why I'm knitting the body inside out, because it's all 1x1 rib. And so this is my right side, which is going to be the wrong side. And this here is the wrong side of the fabric. So this is going to be what's going to be facing outwards when I'm done. But it's just that my purl stitches are tighter than my knit stitches, so I am going to knit it all the way inside out. I'm already to the increasing because, as I've previously stated, I have a very short torso, so I don't need it to be as long as the pattern suggests. And then I'm just doing increases on the side, sort of weirdly. But what are you gonna do? Oh, what I should have done is, never mind, I can't go back now, it's fine. So yeah, I'm just doing increases. So it's actually not going to take me that much longer to do, but I found when I was knitting it that purling can sometimes make my shoulder hurt because of the way I hold my needles or something, I think. But I'm really liking this fabric, and I'm hoping it'll be done by maybe August sometime when it's cooler. Because summers here can get mighty warm. So I am holding that in a project bag that I made myself a while ago, as are like all of my projects. My next whip is a pair of socks, and this is one I can actually show you. So this is one of my newest colorways. It is Scrappy Sock Volume 3. This has not gone up in my shop yet and won't until probably next month or June. We shall see. So I have one finished sock, which I absolutely adore. And I have started on the second sock. So I'm working on like 4 or 5 pairs of socks at the moment, purely because my advent calendar test knit stuff is taking up a lot of... I just need to stop casting on so many socks, I think. But what are you gonna do? So I have got, oh my, never mind. So that's my cuff so far. I'm just past the cuff and onto the stockinette portion now. So what I do for my socks, I usually cast on 60 stitches now for my ribbing. And then once I get past the ribbing on the heel side, I will decrease by 2 stitches, but I will keep 30 stitches on my front, for the front of the foot. And then I'll have 58 for the heel side. And then when I go to do the heel, I'll just do an extra decrease at the end after my gusset is all picked up. And that way I know that they will not stretch too much over my arch, but will still be snug enough that they won't fall off my foot. Eloquent. So that's another work in progress. I literally have 3 pairs of socks on the other side of this, just because I can't show you. So I had ordered an obscene amount of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes sport weight last year for what I thought was going to be just a bunch of like pairs of mittens and the like. I never got around to that. So instead, what I decided to do, I had 26 skeins of, I think it's 26. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors, which I will show you. And I'm making myself a crochet blanket with it instead. So I am using Baltic Heather, Sprinkle Heather, Claret Heather, Thirst Heather, Turmeric, I believe this one is Pumpkin, and this one is Naked. Nope, that's not right. This one. So I'm crocheting the ColourPop Granny Square blanket that you can find on Ravelry. And the squares look like this. The pattern is originally written for a lot chunkier yarn, so it's just a matter of finding the hook that's right for the yarn that you have. And I did adjust this pattern a tiny bit. Like I took out a chain 2 in each corner in the 3rd row, and I just liked it better. But these are the squares that they make. And I'm using a 4mm crochet hook and with a spore weight. And in this little bag that I got from Stitch Mischief, I'm just holding all of my like pre-done circles. I've just got a bunch of them. And then I'm just using Oyster Heather for the outside for all of them. I think I might get up and show you that. I'm calling this my pepperoni blanket because our pup Gus thinks that they're pepperonis that I'm making. So he tries to eat them occasionally, which is equally hilarious and mildly frustrating. Okay, so I'm holding all of my finished squares in this project bag that I got from Blueberry Fields, and I love it. And I put my new stitch or a pin on there. So I've just got I haven't got too many, but a good way to show you what sort of color they look like. Yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. So all of these squares will get sewn together once I have enough of them. I've got these two as well. I think they just look so pretty. And this is an excellent way for me to use up this yarn because crochet uses up rather a lot of yarn, which is awesome. A pretty straightforward, usual sort of crafty thing though is that I did the calculations for the size of the blanket I wanted and how much yarn I had, and I have plenty of yarn for the middles because I have 2 skeins of each of the colors, but I had to order 26 skeins more of the Oyster Heather colorway. I'm gonna have to name a colorway a Heatherway or something. Get it out of my head. So yeah, I had to order as much yarn as I thought I was getting out of my stash extra to finish it, which I think is pretty standard. So you think you have enough, and then no, you don't. So yeah, I already got that from Knit Picks, so that's ready to go. This is not going to be done for a while. I'd love to have it done for this year, but I doubt it, just because I'm going to be so busy over the summer. Guys, I'm sorry. Don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, I have one more work in progress, and if you are my mother, please stop watching, because this is your Christmas present. I'm feeling pretty proud of myself for casting on a Christmas present I cast it on in March. It's pretty big because my mom is significantly taller than I am. I apparently didn't inherit any of that extra height. She's about 8 inches taller than I am, so... And she likes oversized things, so the combination of her being that much taller and liking oversized compared to my being a shorty pants who likes crop tops, everything takes so long. But I am knitting her and again, Mom, stop watching. I am knitting the Dark Cloud by the absolutely fantastic Hoagie Locatelli. And I am knitting this out of some more knit picks. This podcast is not sponsored by Knit Picks, but it could be. I'm knitting it out of Knit Picks City Tweed, Aran, or Heavy Worsted in the Brocade colorway, which I think is going to suit my mom fantastically. So I cast this on a while ago, and I could have gotten it finished if I didn't get completely distracted by all of the other things I've cast on. Again. So this is going to be awkward to show, but I am done the back portion. So with a lot of Hoagie's patterns, you cast on for one side, do some shaping, other side shaping, join, knit the front. But this is it's not joined at the bust because it has a sort of open hem situation. So I have the back finished. It is currently on a holder. And now I am just working back and forth on the front. And it is huge. It is squishy because it is garter stitch. So having it on my lap when it's cooler is fantastic. It is so nice and warm. Although because it is garter stitch, it does take longer for you to actually get the length you want because garter likes to eat yarn. But I do have plenty of it, so I'm not really worried. I'm not worried about running out. It's just a matter of sitting down and actually working on it. But yeah, so I'm really excited for this. And then after all that shaping is done and it matches the back, all it is ribbing, which won't take long at all. And then it'll be done. So I'm kind of hoping to have it done by June, because then I can have had a Christmas present finished by then, which will make me feel incredibly accomplished. And now I feel like I have to get up again because I actually did have another work in progress. I love this outfit. Okay. So there was something else that's been, it's in timeout right now because I wasn't sure where I was going with it. But I cast on a So Faded that I was going to do without a fade, but I really like the shape of it. So I cast on in my packaging plastic colorway. It's a new colorway that hasn't really been shown. But I've actually finished the body. So I cast this on because I wanted a brightly colored crop top to wear with some of my dresses that I have. And I knit it up and I have the sleeves still on spare yarn and I've finished the body. But I wasn't entirely happy with the texture of it. I don't think I'm overly fond of the gauge that it's knit at. But I'm thinking what I might do is just knit a little bit of a ribbing for the sleeves and then call it a day because I'll probably still wear it. So yeah, I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the sleeves. But yeah, so that's another thing. But it's going back to the naughty box because I'm still not sure what's going on with it. So I'll put it aside. And yeah, this is my packaging plastic. It's very shiny, very bright. And I think that's everything. I think. I've got a lot of plans for things, and I have a lot of secret projects that I can't show. Not just socks. I have a couple of sort of Christmas presents and the like that I'm trying to keep on the down low. But I think that's it. If I missed anything, I probably did. I'll probably not do anything about it. Yeah. I have acquisitions. I have bought quite a few things. I bought yarn when we were in Nashville, but I don't think I can remember exactly what it was that I got and what it was that I didn't and all that. So I'll just show things as I knit with them and call that a day, I think. And I don't really have anything to talk about life-wise because I'm really boring. You just saw all the stuff I was doing. I'm doing some yarn dyeing for the shop right now, and hopefully I can put a few skeins in by next week. But besides that, that's it. That's all she wrote. but I could sit here and say I hope I'll be back soon, but who knows? With my sort of consistency right now, this is the second podcast of the year and it's mid-April. But yeah. Yes. I am going to leave it there because I get a headache from talking too long, which is surprising. But yeah, hopefully next time I can show you a bit more of what's going into the shop, maybe a little bit more conducive to actually like entertaining podcasts. But until then, I will see you next time. Bye!